Hello, property navigators. Queensland just confirmed a $7.1 billion infrastructure plan for the 2032 Olympic Games, the largest infrastructure investment in the state's entire history.
Brisbane's going to get a brand new stadium
built at Victoria Park.
New stadium at Victoria Park.
It is about reshaping southeast Queensland forever for the future.
First and foremost, this announcement isn't just about stadiums and sporting events. It's about regeneration, fast-tracking the construction of generational infrastructure that leaves a long-term economic legacy, which can supercharge entire regions of Queensland. Let's break down this announcement, starting with Greater Brisbane and its new Brisbane Stadium. The city will see a brand new world-class 63,000-seat stadium at Victoria Park that has an estimated build cost of $3.78 billion. The new stadium will anchor a world-class sports precinct capable of hosting a range of events such as AFL, Test cricket and major events such as concerts. This venue will also be where future Brisbane Lions, Brisbane Heat and the Queensland Bulls teams call home. Brisbane will firmly be on the world stage, showcasing major events and talent well beyond the delivery of the games. Major events significantly bolster Greater Brisbane's economy, with BETA reportedly driving $1 billion in economic activity, with overnight visitor spending reaching $11 billion just in financial year 23 and 24. With this stadium, Queensland will only see increased major event tourism. A new $650 million state-of-the-art aquatic centre will be constructed at the site of the Centenary Pool in Spring Hill. It will have a games time capacity of 25,000 seats, which is larger than Paris's 2024 Olympic Swimming Arena, and will have a main and secondary stadium, each with large indoor pools able to host major international swimming championships post-Olympics. It has been designed as a national hub for Australia's 4 peak aquatic sports bodies, with plans for them all to relocate their headquarters to this venue. Brisbane's historic RNA Showgrounds will be transformed with an upgraded main arena capacity of 20,000 and an on-site Olympic Athletes Village. It will house more than 10,000 athletes and team officials for the Olympics and more than 5,000 for the Paralympics. With its proximity to the city, the village will transform after the Games into a modern housing and lifestyle precinct development, much like Sydney's Olympic Park. This upgrade will give the Brisbane Ekka an even brighter future by leaving a major event venue for exhibitions, sports and entertainment at the showgrounds, sustaining the precinct's role as the cultural, sporting and events economic hub. The state's main tennis facility in Tennyson will be expanded to include a new 3,000-seat show court arena and 12 new match courts. This secures Brisbane's ability to host larger international tennis tournaments, preserving Queensland's share of major tennis events, while also leaving an enhanced facility for community tennis programs and national tennis development. The existing Chandler Sleeman Sports Complex will be upgraded to also incorporate a dedicated Paralympic and community sports hub. The plan repurposes this area of the precinct into a centre of excellence for parasport training and competition, providing a lasting, inclusive sports facility for athletes and the broader community well beyond 2032. A new whitewater rafting centre will be built in the Redlands to host the Olympic canoe slalom events. After the Games, this facility will serve as a community adventure park, an elite training facility, attracting visitors and boosting local tourism. New indoor arenas will be constructed in Logan and Moreton Bay. Now, these venues will provide 2 of the fastest growing out of Brisbane regions with world-class sports facilities for community use and events after 2032. Now, the previously planned Brisbane Arena in the CBD at Roma Street will not proceed as part of the Olympic Games, but it will still go ahead. Now, what's really clever here is the government has seen offers from private sector to build the project. Now, they're also moving the project to Wollongabba, near to where the newly built Gabba Precinct will stand once the aging Gabba Stadium is demolished and redeveloped. So, good news for the taxpayer and good news for Brisbane that it's still going ahead, but through private investment. Another high-ticket infrastructure infrastructure project nonetheless, with massive lifestyle and economic benefits. Next up, let's talk about the Gold Coast. Most importantly here, we need to discuss the Gold Coast Athletes Village. That will be built at the Royal Pines Precinct on the Gold Coast for athletes and officials whose events are hosted in the region. Post-games, the Athletes Village is expected to be converted into a master planned residential development, including a mix of housing types. Its location in the resort area of Royal Pines suggests potential as both community housing and tourist accommodation in the long term. Additionally, the Gold Coast will also receive a new indoor arena, which after 2032 will become a permanent entertainment and sports venue for the Gold Coast, attracting concerts for sporting championships and exhibitions to the region. The city's hockey centre will also be upgraded, allowing the Gold Coast to host future international hockey tournaments. Next, let's discuss the Sunshine Coast, which will also receive an athletes village to be established in the developing Maroochydore CBD area. After the games, it will be converted into long-term housing and a new urban community. Now, this aligns with the region's growth plans, effectively fast-tracking a massive residential precinct that provides housing and infrastructure as a game's legacy. Sunshine Coast will also get a new indoor arena and cultural precinct in Maroochydore. It will become a permanent multi-purpose venue for the Sunshine Coast, allowing the region to host large sports matches, concerts and conventions. The adjacent cultural precinct will provide community spaces and performing arts facilities. The existing stadium is getting an upgrade and expansion. Now, upgrades to the Sunshine Coast Stadium include increasing the size of the stadium from 1,000 to over 10,000 permanent seats. Now, these upgrades will attract major sporting, recreational and entertainment events. The stadium upgrade will support growing demand for a high-caliber sporting venue within the region by sporting organisations including the NRL, which will contribute to local tourism and sport. Now, this is massive in terms of connectivity for the Sunshine Coast and includes a new direct heavy rail line from Biwa to Batinia, linking with a state-of-the-art metro hub that will connect to the Sunshine Coast Airport through Maroochydore via light rail. It leaves a transformative legacy for seamless public transport from Brisbane to the Sunshine Coast Airport, spurring economic development and tourism. Think of how that might spark new housing developments, commercial zones and tourist facilities to serve the waves of visitors, pun intended. Regional Queensland is also receiving major investments. In Cairns, Barlow Park will be upgraded to increase seating capacity and improve facilities. Post-games, it will support Cairns to attract major event hosting opportunities such as the NRL, A-League matches and other events, driving sports tourism in the region. Townsville and the Whitsundays will co-host sailing events requiring marine infrastructure upgrades for marinas, docks, spectator areas, etc., and will showcase the beauty of North Queensland across the globe. Mackay will get upgrades to Harrop Park's Great Barrier Reef Arena for hosting international cricket, drawing global reach and providing diversification for their economy. Rockhampton will get a permanent rowing course on the Fitzroy River, afterward becoming a future training base or host for national championships. Maryborough gets a specialised sports facility that will also act as host for the archery at the Olympics. The strategy here is to also heavily push the beautiful Harvey Bay into the international tourism spotlight for its world-class whale watching. Now, it's only 20 minutes drive away, so that makes a lot of sense. And that would have a huge economic benefit for the whole region. Toowoomba's showgrounds will be developed into an equestrian centre of excellence, with the upgrades leaving Toowoomba as a premier and world-class equestrian sporting facility, which will drive local industry. Several major transport projects, either in planning or delivery phases, will be accelerated as part of the 2032 delivery plan for the Olympics. Now, most of which have their own separate budgets already allocated. Now, a couple of these include the Bruce Highway, seeing an investment of $9 billion for key regional upgrades such as the Tyro Bypass and the Rockhampton Ring Road. The Logan to Gold Coast Faster Rail project, Coomera Connector and Cross River Rail will also benefit from being fast-tracked. Now, there's Heaps more transport infrastructure projects in the pipeline as part of this announcement, with only some of these now being on screen. I show you these because generally there's a correlation between better transport systems and property values. With the extension of rail lines, faster highways and new bus corridors, suburban and regional locations become more accessible. That's prime territory for anyone thinking about long-term capital growth. When travel becomes easier, population growth tends to follow, and that means property demand. Now, we have a master's level case study with real examples of the economic impact the development of Sydney's Olympic Park and Expo 88 had on their surrounding property markets and economies. It's a deep dive and hugely interesting, and the link is just down in the description. But back to this. Now, the lasting economic benefits of these projects we've spoken about far surpass the fiscal $7.1 billion investment. For example, tourism growth and promotion. Hosting events in iconic Queensland locations draws global visibility. It's a beautiful place that presents impressively well. By 2032, more visitors will fly directly into Queensland from around the world than ever before. Queensland Tourism is developing a 20-year plan that takes advantage of more visitors spending money in the state. And when we think about regions like Cairns, Townsville and the Whitsundays that will showcase their natural beauty on the world stage, then after the Games we can expect sustained global reach and interest well into the future. Tourists come, they spend, and some decide to invest or migrate, leading to more robust local economies and new investment opportunities. The largest infrastructure build in Queensland's history will require tens, if not hundreds of thousands of construction jobs, while heavily boosting local supply chains, all while contributing to the federal and state taxation systems. These permanent world-class venues will continue to attract high-profile sports and entertainment events, generating revenue and economic uplift for decades. Long-term housing development. Athlete villages in Brisbane, the Sunshine Coast and the Gold Coast will become permanent modern housing precincts. For investors, that translates into more vibrant, livable areas over the long term, with stronger potential for capital growth and rental returns, just like you'll see over here in our case study. Links just down in the description. Redevelopment of the Gabba site for future city shaping is a massive upside of Brisbane's new stadium. The government also plans to pour money into grassroots sports facilities statewide. That might sound minor if you're only thinking about the big venues, but improved local fields and clubhouses can transform communities, making them more appealing places to live. Over time, that can also positively impact property values. So what's the bottom line? Queensland's 2032 Olympics plan is designed so we will not be left with a rash of giant empty venues. Instead, we'll have evolving precincts that remain active hubs of the community long after 2032. Now, it's a massive investment that promises to boost tourism, stimulate job growth, and very well could elevate property values right across the state. For investors, it's a golden opportunity to identify the next investment location, those suburbs or regional markets that stand to benefit most from new infrastructure and heightened global interest. And we can certainly help you with that. Just give us a call. Keep an eye out as I'll be updating this video throughout the lead up to the 2032 Brisbane, or should I say Queensland's Olympic Games. Until next time, happy property navigating.